This is part 2 to What If Issei and Rias swap places, 18 plus. Now, admittingly, the first one didn't have much 18 plus content, but the second one might. And this is part 2. I don't know if it'll be the final part or not. It might be, it might not, but here we go. So we start off right after that fight. Issei's laid on the ground, basically buried in his own blood, with one punch, basically dropping him as he fell. Surprisingly enough, caught by Rias. Rias saying, "Issei, you won," and hugging him while Issei's coughing out a little bit of blood, saying, I won. I start spitting out blood more and more, saying, as you hear loud clapping as a big, bulking man walked in the room. No one was expecting to see this big motherfucker at this event, since he already straight up stated his protest for what's happening. That's when they get to see the biggest and most dangerous motherfucker other than Issei, Cyber Org Bale. He says, good job, cuz. You did good. But I am surprised. You had to pull out your familiar to help you? This is when Issei said, shut the hell up. You would have had to do the same shit. Granted, you might be right, but I would have done it with a little bit more class. Oh, fuck you, Cyber Org. No. By the way, you good, man? I need help. Understandable. Basically, all Cyber had to do was clap twice. His own peerage would appear. They basically put Issei on a stretcher and say, let's bring his ass over here. First thing that happened, the wife of the Phoenix clan, like the head woman of the Phoenix clan, you know, the leader's wife, would walk over, give Issei a Phoenix here and said, use this. This is when she slapped both her sons right in the fucking mouth and said, you idiots. Did you really have to piss him off that much? You could have won us a good thing. You almost lost us a good thing. Sorry about that, guys. Now apologize. Well, we're sorry. Not to me, to him. We're sorry, Issei. Good. This is when Cyber Org straight up says something that scared the shit out of those two. You know, I was kind of expecting more from you too. What? You're supposed to be as strong, like as a 10-winged, right? So why the fuck are you so weak? The older of the two, Revel, flies forward and tries punching Cyber Org in the face. Cyber Org said, really? Basically being an afterimage as he one-shot the little Phoenix boy, shattering his jaw. The other one went to actually do the same thing to Issei, since they were already pissed off at each other, and he figured he could take a cheap shot. Thing is, when Issei did the same exact move as Cyber Org, after image and then one shot, shattering the jaw, Issei saying, hey, Cyber Org, that was my thing. I was supposed to be the one who shatters their jaws. I'm sorry, Issei. So this is your peerage. Seeing the entirety of Issei's peerage. I expected a little bit more from you, little bro. Oh, it's not like it's as bad as your peerage is. Hey, I tried a lot with my peerage. Oh, please, we all know I could instantly wreck your peerage. Hey, don't talk shit, man. Let's just be honest. Your peerage ain't that powerful, bro. You want to keep claiming that. But mine's known as the strongest of the new Jin peerages. Yeah, because you're the literal only one of power, of real power on there. Hell, other than the special thing you got. Hell, your queen doesn't even hold a candle to you, and she's probably the second strongest member. Fair point. Every other member of yours isn't that powerful comparative to you. What about compared to your members? Hell, my peerage ain't exactly strong, but by God, they can fight. Now, this is when Issei's now, walking home, and Cyber Org says, look, I'll see you later, man. I gotta get back to my area. I just want to make sure this shit wouldn't happen. If need be, I would have intervened. Bro, if you would have intervened, no one would have fucking existed afterwards. Hey, you know I ain't got destruction. No, but you got a hell of a punch. This is when you hear the Revel. True. Basically, wording out the word true, doing his best to say it. Issei said, even the guy who just knocked the fuck out of says that. I mean, he's right. I'm kind of the strongest of our gen. Keep rubbing it in that you're the strongest, goddammit. We'll figure that out later. Because of how bullshit these two are, it's funny as hell when they argue. Because if they actually go to blows, it's an even fight until they pull out their familiars. Because they're basically the same shit. Like, Issei pulls a familiar out, which is a dragon that grants him armor. While Cyborg has his own little thing that will give him a suit of armor as well, and they with the whole thing. And they've gone to blows a few times in the past, but they've never pulled out their armor out. Because, I mean, Issei calls it his last resort. Same for Cyborg, though they are considered when they're in their armor, which Sir Zex and the, Devil and the Mao all know about. They say when those two go in those forms, that is like a literal apocalypse ending event. That's what would happen if they had to fight alongside the Maos. That's only considered to be something that would happen if Rise of them Lucifer was to come back. Cyborg is that powerful that he'd be considered one of the top new devils. Same for Issei. Hell, if Cyborg had the power of destruction and worked his body as much as he does, he'd be the most dangerous devil in existence. It's simple as that. But let's get back to what if. So, this is when we get to see Issei relaxing as he sees something he wasn't expecting. Someone actually approached him. Because, not him, but like, someone actually approached Rias. Because, the whole thing, and basically, Issei and Rias swap places. Although Issei does kind of let everyone but Rias basically live in his mansion. Rias has been thinking about moving in, but not fully in yet. Although, she's still kind of on the fence. She has a lot of her stuff at his place, but she doesn't fully move in yet. But back to what if. Now, she saw some old friends of hers from when she was little. They're now, priests they're now exorcists at the church, while she's now a devil. Issei could feel holy aura in his area, so he checked it out. Basically, in the sidelines, using magic to view the whole event, seeing that Rias was talking to two exorcists, and they were talking about how it was weird that Rias was now a devil, and all that shit. Now, this is when Issei's thinking something. It's gonna be the weirdest fucking shit ever. Since this is when they would move side, this is when the next day they would appear. And Issei straight up looked them in the eye and said, I don't give a fuck who the hell you are, who the hell your boss is, even if it is, Michael, because his ass ain't gonna step to me. So I want to know one thing, yeah? Is it Kokabeel? Yes? Oh, good. I've been waiting to fight his ass. Well, what do you mean? That's suicide. We don't want you devils to intervene. Before you say that again, think about it like this. I have history with Kokabeel. You're not taking my ass beating I give him away from me. This shit is what he has earned after the shit he's pulled. That's because Kokabeel has done some fucked up shit in the past. Whenever Issei was younger, Kokabeel threw a light spear at him, and actually injured Issei's arm pretty badly. Only reason that wasn't enough to get Sir Zex to kill him was because, well, Sir Zex only found out 2 days after because no one fucking told him, so he wouldn't start a war with Azazel. And the thing is, he was hanging out with Azazel when this shit happened. If he would have found out that, him and Azazel probably both jump Kokabeel's stupid ass. But they didn't get the chance. This is when Issei would actually figure something out. This is his fight, and they claim it's theirs. This is when Issei said, hey, can we destroy those Excaliburs that they have? What? You plan to destroy Excalibur? I mean, I kind of owe my knight that. Seeing Kiba in all her rage, saying, thank you, Issei, you're keeping your promise. Like I was saying, Kiba basically being surprised that anyone's actually doing that shit they claimed, saying, thank you, Issei. This is when Issei said, no problem, I got you, don't worry. Now, would you please? This is when they said, we don't give a fuck what you feel like. We don't care what you think. And they were acting all cocky, and she actually threatened Asya. Issei, who is a very much zero fucks given king, if you attack his peerage, he will kill you. He doesn't care if you're part of Michael's thing or anything. So whenever they were getting in Asya's face and actually pulled out Excalibur, almost tried to, which they were about to try stabbing, Issei got up in their face and said, if you swing that fucking sword, I'm breaking it, breaking your necks, and rolling them back to the fucking church, right in front of Michael's fucking feet. This scared the hell out of them, saying, what? That's a threat. Yes, it is. No, it's not actually a threat. It's a promise. If you fucking attack my peerage, I'll bring down the wrath of the demons on you. Well, why would you do that? Because this peerage is my peerage. They're the people that serve me. They're the only people in existence I can trust. I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. Hell, I barely trust my own brother. But these people are the only ones I have watching my back, and I watch theirs better than anyone in existence could. Hearing this was sheer devotion. He's more devoted to his peerage than they are to God, which is saying something. Back to it though. As Issei's looking like eye to eye with them, they said, very well. This is when they actually said, well, we should still get a match in. Kiba basically talking a little bit of shit, so calling them actually quite weak. This is when they wanted to back up if Issei could really throw hands like that. They knew he was a devil, but they're basically, they can do shit to devils better. They've killed stray devils. They think, well, stray is probably stronger than the regular one, right? Most cases, yes. These are not regular devils, though. As they actually are about to have a match with Issei between, those two and Kiba. Kiba saying, alright. Issei saying, hold it. You're not having a 2v1 match. That's fucking stupid. Rias saying, should I join? Issei saying, no, I'll join. What? I could use a workout. Alright. This is when, surprisingly enough, Zenobia wasn't sure who to go against. Zenobia knew she was more powerful, so she should probably be fighting the king. But knowing as powerful as Kiba felt, like on a sheer swordsman stance, she was kind of the better swordsman, so who knows. This is when Irina basically made the decision easy and went up against Issei face to face. Issei basically looking down at her saying, swing. She swung a holy sword and actually bounced it off of Issei's chest. Him stating, you can't even cut through magic with the damn thing. Focus your energy. As it starts to slightly glow. And that one actually cut him. Good job. As he basically just blew a little bit of blood off of him. Anything else? Them going basically berserk. Konako noting he's actually holding back on them a lot more than expected. Who knows, maybe able to beat this 1% of his power. Hearing that, the entire peerage of Issei said 1%. I mean, sure, Akino already figured out it was only 1% of Issei's power, and that Asya and Rias were the almost really were surprised. Saying, wait, only 1% of his power is being used? How strong is he? This is when they straight up said, the only time we've ever seen him go to his max was against two tin wings, so I'd say that he's roughly around the same level as the 12 wing right now. Though that's greatly with his armor. He hasn't pulled his armor out, so I don't think it's a big deal. This is when, once, Kiba was defeated, Issei's still standing, and they haven't even gotten much but a few scratches on him. This is when Zenobia pulled out Excalibur and tried chopping Issei's leg. It basically it doesn't even bounce off his leg. He actually catches it, and, the other version of Excalibur, catching both of them and throwing them around, saying, not bad, not bad. Zenobia actually pulling out Durandal, trying to actually kill Issei. Taking its threats as full-on murder attack, so she's trying to kill him. He looks at her, seeing Durandal, and saying, Q, you have an actual holy sword, it's not just a fragment. Swing it. She swung it one time. He caught the damn thing and said, nope, knocking her out, saying, you're strong, but your skill with this blade is weak. Issei picks up Durandal, as if it's his own fucking blade, and starts swinging it around like it's a toy. Zenobia is surprised, saying, how the hell are you doing that? Simple. Durandal and every other fucking holy sword have a few sets things about them. One of those is that they have to be strong. And they're heavy as hell, but their actual wielder won't feel any of the weight. It'll be as if they're lifting a toothpick. To others, it'll be like lifting a mountain. But I'll be the first to grant, if you can lift a mountain like it's a joke, this kind of sword doesn't give a fuck. It basically will show its wielder, or anyone strong enough to wield it. It's really a whatever kind of thing. Surprised at the bullshit strength of Issei, saying, how? Because I am Issei Hyodo. Not because I'm Issei Guremori. But we've been going on this long enough. This is when the next few days over Kokubil's events happen. Issei looks him dead in the fucking eyes and said, listen, Kokubil, we all know what the fuck's gonna happen. You're gonna swing at me. I'm gonna swing at you. You're gonna hit that floor. And if you don't hit that floor, I'm gonna hit you again. Oh, please, you're not strong enough. What the hell? Kokubil, noting that he's not on his throne anymore and he's on the ground, like, what the fuck? With a big ass dent in his face, saying, alright. You think you can move that fast, huh? Yeah. Going to kill Issei. This is when he actually tried stabbing Issei with a light spear. Looking down, seeing that he only ripped up Issei's shirt and saw what was underneath. Issei was using magic to flex his muscle to the point where it wouldn't be cut by anything other than a direct attack from Kokubil. Like, it would have to be Kokubil's strongest light spear, which is thrown. Issei catches the damn thing. This is when you hear boost, 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 boost. Rias going to her max number of boosts. Issei saying, alright, now. Catching her hand, saying, as you hear, transfer. His eyes open with great power, and he looks eye to eye with Kokubil, saying, summon. As his familiar was a fairly large red dragon behind him that was covered in flames. As it almost looked to swallow Issei whole in its body, he walked out covered in armor, crimson red with streaks of gold. This was the descendant of Drake. Name? This was one of the people that were beneath Heavenly King, one of the few high-class dragons known as Trex. Trex was his name. He was the only dragon to be able to be on this level, and had domination as a kind of second-hand thing. Admittingly, he's not on the same level of his great-grandfather, but he's strong enough to easily match up. He does have a little bit of a boost, but he calls it an upgrade. Since all it does is 1.75 times whatever your current stats are. And it does that for everyone's stats. Thing is, that's basically a watered-down version of boost. And there's even a few others that have something called advantage, or advanced, which will just do the same shit, but on a lower scale. Thing is, getting the boost ability needs a lot of training, which the dragon does a lot of training with Issei. So this is when you see a grown-ass Kokubil looking like he's about to get his ass whooped. And he does. Kokubil, who's laying on the ground, said, of course, you would have the abilities of your great-grandfather. Spitting out a little bit of blood. This is when Drake would actually speak through the gauntlet. Trax, is that you? Trax looking down, saying, yes, grandfather. What do you want? I'm proud you're so strong, and such a strong man is what helps you. Are you a gear now? No, I'm his familiar. He defeated me in a battle, and I've become his familiar. Good to see that, but how did you lose? It was an honest fight. We went fight to fight, blow to blow, and he came out on top. When was this? 2 years ago. How powerful was he? About half of what he is now, actually. Wow. Good to hear. This is when Rias would say, wait, so y'all know each other? Well, of course I know my grandson. I've never been around him, but I know his aura. Yeah, I think we all know what the red dragon is. Now, as issei was basically beating the shit out of Kokubyo, is when Kokubyo would announce, seeing Kiba pull out the blade that was holy and demonic, and say how God is dead. Everyone from the church, and even Asya, would all, faint, hearing this. Issei just looked him up and down, saying, you act like I give a fuck, and then beat the shit out of Kokubyo even more. That's when the White Dragon would arrive and say, hey, stop. Trying to pull Issei off, saying, God damn it, you're heavy. That gear. But this is when he noticed the armor on Issei's body. It looked like a balance breaker to the Red Dragon Emperor. Noting it had everything except for the mustache-looking golden piece that would wrap around Issei, that was on Issei's face. What the hell? This is when this is when you hear Drake going through Rias's arm, saying, listen, Issei, that is the White Dragon Emperor, my eternal rival. Be careful. Issei looking him up and down, saying, he ain't that tough. And since the dude flying, saying, now, where was I? What the hell? Divide. Increase. Basically even out the increase to decrease thing of a ratio, and now Issei hasn't even ground where he was. He said, is that all you got? Because I'm about to beat your ass. So yeah, this is when Issei was actually going crazy. He was actually about to do one more swing when he was stopped by the words of Rias. Issei, enough. Because Issei wasn't that fucked up of a guy, but still didn't give a fuck for him, he said fine and threw him basically at, the guy who basically threw him at Volley. Volley saying, wait, what the fuck? Oh, ow. Volley getting up, it's basically throwing Kokubyo off him, saying, you little shit, and actually tries jumping towards Issei. Issei just socking him right in the mouth, saying, shut the fuck up. Don't you fucking ever try dividing my abilities again. Upgrade. Or what is what's heard as Issei starts beating the shit out of Volley then. Volley saying, fuck you, man. I'm not supposed to fight the Red Dragon Emperor's descendant. I'm supposed to fight the Red Dragon Emperor. Spitting out blood, saying, fuck you. As he ran away. Issei said, damn. That guy took a lot of punches. Well, anyway. Rias. Yes, Issei? Here, I want to give you something. What? I want to train with you and Drake. You, Drake, me, and Rex. Or Trex. Wait, why would we all train together? Because you need to get stronger with your gear. Hell, we all need to get stronger. The next goddamn morning, when Rias was walking to school, she was... Actually, not the next morning, but a few days later, Rias was walking to school whenever she saw a very shocking sight. Volley, who had his two swords to his throat. Zenovia's, who Issei basically had led join, and Kiba's. This is when you hear dun 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 dun, as if it's like boss music plays, whenever Issei walked up saying, put your swords away. Tell me, bud, you really want to have that fight with the Red Dragon Emperor so much? Why don't you wait for a little while till she's actually strong enough to fight you, you little shit? Volley saying, fine, that's doable. Issei saying, damn, now I gotta whoop his ass again. Rias, how strong are you right now? Still the weakest member of your team other than Asya. Aight. Now, as he basically said, alright, we're gonna train. That's when they actually hear the whole thing about, the parent-teacher thing. The parents coming to school with their kids. All that shit happens. But, weirdest part is, when that day happens, there's another event. Because, the other Mao, Issei knows the Maos and straight up said, hey. Hearing the yelling, Issei Seraphiel said, Issei, how you been? Actually kissing him on the cheek. He's saying, I've been fine, so what's up? Oh, just trying to find my sister. I'll take you to her. You know she's gonna be pissed that you got here, right? Yeah, I know, but I want to be here. Alright, well, her rage is on your shoulders, not mine, so, this is when you hear the student council walking in like, yeah, yeah. Saji Strip said, hey, Isa, I don't really care much, but, you know you're not allowed to have people around here like that. Actually, this is when she said, I'm here on my own. He just found me. Hearing that, saying, well, is your sibling or something go here? Funny as shit is when you hear step, 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 adjusting glasses. What's the commotion about? Sister? Sona! Jumping on Sona's shoulders, jumping on top of Sona, Sona saying, what the hell are you doing here? And why are you dressed like that? School dress code, yada yada yada, speaking all that shit. Issa said, oh, y'all need to fucking stop it. Picking up both student council president and a literal fucking Mao, walking them right up to the student council office, opening the door with his foot, and basically dropping both of them inside, closing the door. That should work for now, as he basically just locked them together. This is when he said, look, Saji, whatever the fuck your name is, if you let them out, I'm beating your ass. You don't have the What the fuck was that? Where the hell am I? Issa said, look where your fucking feet are. The fuck? Now look left. Now look right. Where are you? In the sky? That's right, far above Kuo Academy. Now, say any fucking word of shit talk, and I'm dropping your ass at full speed. And I'm tearing your devil wings off if you try to deploy them. Okay. Can I just not die? Sure. He said, dragging him back down, saying, now don't you fucking ever talk back to me before I whoop your ass. Understood? Yeah. Good. Now, I'm going back to what I was doing. Now, what the fuck do I have to do? Oh, yeah. Parents. He sees Sir Zex and all of them, and they actually all go to Issei's mansion. Rias's parents are there, saying, as they start cutting up with a literal devil, Issei said, look, Sir Zex, I need to talk to you. Yes, you usually call me brother, what is it? Well, I've decided something. What are your thoughts on removing yourself as a Mao? That would be quite difficult for me to do, why? Alright, how about this? What are your thoughts on your son taking over the title of Grimmery, as the leader of Grimmery? I'd love for him to do it, but you know that's what your plan was, right? Not anymore. I plan on becoming a Mao, and I need your assistance for that one. Why? You're almost as strong as a Mao already. True, but I need to get stronger. The White Dragon Emperor is coming. What do you mean the White Dragon Emperor is coming? You know how that Rias girl on my period, she's a Red Dragon Emperor? Yes? Well, the white one is coming too, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. Do you have a name? Volley Lucifer. Lucifer? Yeah. Fine. If need be, I will intervene and help you, but rarely, okay? Just like normal. Anyway, I wanted to know, do you think you could set some stuff up for us to train harder and get stronger and shit like that? I guess I could, yeah. Good. By the way, when's this fucking meeting gonna take place? About 2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks later, they're at the meeting. He's just looking basically eye to eye, and he's the only one who wasn't one of the top ones who got a chair. And this is when, surprisingly enough, there was someone who stated, why does the child get a chair? This person being Michael. Because there's Seraphiel and Sir Zex, Michael and Azazel, it's weird that Issei's getting a chair too. Because Sona's not getting a chair, and she's Mao's sibling. Not only that, but she's also another king of this area. So they're kind of surprised. Why doesn't all of them get a chair? This is when Michael would say, I don't think a child needs to get a chair when the adults are needing to be the ones talking. Issei saying, listen here, I need to talk to you. What? And I'm talking to you the way a grown man would. Now, if you want to talk shit, we can settle this shit outside right fucking now. Oh, please, you struggled against Kokabeel. No, I struggled dealing with the Kokabeel, White Dragon Emperor, and controlling my rage. Oh, like it was that hard. Where the fuck? The hell? Michael walks back saying, you asshole, and punching Issei in the face. Issei said, aw, good job. Boom! One-shotting Michael to the floor, saying, but don't you fucking ever punch me in the face again. Because Issei straight just threw him, punched him as hard as possible. Not hard, but like, sent him flying with all the power he could, to make it where Michael was far as fuck away. Michael, when he got back, was pissed, as he hit Issei. Issei punching him and knocking him to the ground, saying, Now what we're doing, oh yeah, let's settle this shit. Next being the whole, what they need to settle is there going to be peace or not? Issei straight up said, fuck it, let there be peace. If there's no peace, I'm beating your ass. Okay. Azazel, who wanted peace anyway, said, sure. So they actually wanted peace, and Michael's saying, sure, I'd rather peace. Good, good, good. Now, on the subject of peace, I need a piece of cake. Hearing this shit, as this has been the whole time for you, and he's like, ah, fuck. They attack and everything like canon, but in this version, Issei goes and grabs Gasper. God damn it. Fine. Hearing that it would take Rias' blood, because, you know, the whole thing about her blood was special, because it's Red Dragon Emperor shit, I don't fucking know. Taking Rias with, as given the same bracelets Issei was given in canon, to tap into her boost, to enter her balance breaker without costing her a limb. And she uses it against Azazel. She uses it against Volley, and actually was doing damn well. Hearing the whole dividing shit about what could be divided, she didn't want to lose her ample bust size, and Issei didn't want to lose that either. So he flew in with his own armor, and was starting to beat the shit out of Volley, and actually was turning left and right, and basically bouncing Volley's head off the ground. Now there was only one fucking punch left needed. That punch needed to kill Volley. This is when Issei was slapped right in the mouth by a very, very familiar Monkey King. It was Bigu. He said, huh, looks like I'm a little late to the party. Volley was basically crawling away, saying, ow, ow, ow. This is when you see a cat woman standing above everything, with a magical ball, basically getting them out. Issei straight up just spears him into the wall. Bigu, who felt the pain on that one, started falling, as he was able to get himself to the area and basically vanish. As they're all gone now, you hear Issei saying, ow, seeing a giant pole mark on his head from where he got hit. Rias was surprised at the speed that guy had. She could barely keep up with the white one speed, and even then it was kind of difficult since he was literally the vanishing dragon. Now, this is when we get to the next part. They go to the underworld, and when they have to deal with, you know, when Issei's gone, even Rias is struggling to deal with this thing. She's just doing her best trying to stop this, like, dragon. This is when they're kind of worried about, like, where the hell is Issei? This is when they have to use magic to fake a look. Basically making a fake little magic Issei to try jumping in, trying to stop this in his armor. Mainly using Issei's own magic to do this little Photoshop thing. And this is all in front of them, so they think they see Issei coming to save them. What they see is an Issei whose head got ripped off. He hits the ground, and you start hearing, I who shall awaken shall become the red dragon of domination once more. I shall mock the infinite and purge the dream. Red Dragon, Juggernaut Drive. As Rias went into it, she started basically bouncing hits off of Tannen. It was almost seen as an even fight. This is when Issei saw that this was no longer a thing. This wasn't a fight anymore. This was a fight to the death. Knowing his entire peers was about to kill, Issei, using his full speed, knocked everyone out except for Rias. He couldn't get her out of there. Issei yelled, "Everyone out!" Didn't want to have to do this, but I have no other choice. Destruction. Looking Rias in the eyes, shattering all of her armor, noting that it took every bit of magic he had to basically calm her down and shatter the armor. As he hit the floor, heavy breathing like that. Every fucking second, he can't fucking breathe. Rias basically collapsing, saying, "Issei. Yeah. Ow. That was just a test. Don't worry, I won't die that easily. Especially not to just some random... Especially not to just a Dragon King Tannen. Like, that could kill me. I mean, it could, but it would take a fucking time to do it. It would take a full-on fight. It wouldn't just be an instant kill. Back to What If, though. As Issei simply just did this, next we have the fight with Loki. When they do that Loki fight, it was a whole different battle. Because it's the same people that go in canon. But, in this version, because Rias wouldn't be strong enough to wield Mjolnir, because even though she had the boosted gear, and almost went into Balance Breaker, she can go into it, but not for long periods of time, she wasn't considered the strong enough to do it. This is when Issei was looking down at this whole thing. As he was able to grab Mjolnir, or at least to try to, when they saw blood dripping off Issei's face, when he's attacked by Fenrir. This was actually biting his leg off, him losing his actual fucking leg to Fenrir's mouth. Everyone attacks him because Issei just hit the ground. But he's not dead. He's losing large quantities of blood, but he's too stubborn. He took the belt from his pants, tightened it around his leg so it would stop the bleeding, stood up on one leg and flew in his devil form, grabbing Mjolnir and said, "Transcend." Putting all his magic into Mjolnir, swinging one swing down as he hit the ground. Because, there was still that same little thing given to him, when he hits the ground, and he knows what a fucking Phoenix Spear is, he grabs it and basically threw it on his leg. Basically moving it just about as good as it used to, but it still, just got cut off, so none of the muscles are fully connected to it yet. So he has to, deal with all that shit. Next, we've got the whole fight with that, what the fuck is his name? The guy who kidnaps Asya. In this version, hearing what's happening, Issei flies there without giving a fuck, shattering everything in his path, picking the dude up by his throat and tearing his chest, damn near tearing him in half. As he basically figured out a way to use his magic to do the dress break. As he did his whole thing of dress break, noting it shattered all of it, because even destruction magic was needed. But now that Issei used this, he was exhausted. He was more exhausted than he's been in a long time. Other than, that when he was other than, when he had to use both destruction and, blood magic at the same time. At this point, now Issei's fighting in a single one-to-one. And he went berserk. He did a chant that's never been done by it's only ever been done by a handful of devils, known as the last devils, since whoever uses this chant kind of sacrifices a lot to do it. It's basically like Juggernaut Drive, but for devils to go into, and it's rare for a devil to go into. There's been only a few times they've ever gone into it, and it's usually just like a last resort, because it's just that powerful. But if you berserk, then it might happen. You hear, "I who shall have awakened. I am the devil that will rip apart the gods. I am the devil that will turn angels and fallens to dust. I shall become a demon of true demonic power once more. I shall become the truest black abyss. Demon mode." As he's got black marks all over his body, started ripping this guy apart. And kept doing it, and kept doing it. Volley appears, seeing Issei pissed, saying, "Oh, fuck. Yeah, I may have to be the one to step in on this one." Tries doing it. This is when Rias would do the same thing, trying to stop Issei, but only barely being able to do anything. As Issei would simply just pull everything apart. Then, I guess we could do the Kyoto thing. That one actually just kind of goes as canon. I don't see how his rank would really change much there. Now, this is when you have the final moment. The fight against Syra Org Bale. And that one was actually a fight. Only in this version, they wanted to make it squad versus squad. No matter who got eliminated, it would all be decided off who had the most members after each fight. Now, thing is, when the pawn-to-pawn fight was going to happen, but it was canceled, since they decided a king and pawn would be teaming up to fight against king and pawn. Issei knew why, but he didn't say anything. Now, there was also another thing that was said that was kind of fucked up. The king is not allowed to use, literally no member is allowed to use their, familiar. And because it's a whole different peerage mate, it's not Syra Org's familiar. So, Issei thinks, damn, they're putting this in his favor. This is when Drake talked to Issei. You do realize I can share the armor with you, but at a cost. You and Rias must temporarily swap things. What do you mean? For moments, you must become my wielder, and I'll most likely have to leave a few of my old wielders in your arm. Do it. This basically makes Rias tired, since, she had to put a lot of energy into it. Issei is a little tired too, but now he's got all the brute force, and even went into balance breaker. Fighting his very much strong cousin to a fucking standstill. Every fight basically went as a victory for Issei's team, because Issei makes sure they train. As this is when Issei would decide to actually take the name Mao, take the title of Demon Lord. And he actually gave the title of head of the House of Grimmery to his nephew, saying, that'll be you, not me. As he kind of decided this is a final thing, this was what he did. He became the strongest devil. Trying to train and more, he even became an actual fucking threat to Great Red. And they actually became pretty good friends and drinking mates as well. And that's basically how this would end. So yeah, there wasn't much 18+ part, but still.